wanted to take one fight after another to see that kids walking to school every single day wondering if they're going to be able to come home. Kids in hallways wondering if they're going to get jumped or killed. My school failed my best friend the moment he was stabbed. As a student, I did more for him than our school staff did. I had his blood all over me. I called 911. I have endless nights staying up, and I'm afraid to fall asleep because I'm scared to relive it all.
Why are you here today? I want better school safety, better transparency among the school. Just like, I want change, you know? This is stupid. This school is like, this happened twice basically, and they haven't learned like anything.
There's hope in all the students here to change the problems that are happening around our community.
I gotta check out the walkout, the protest, and you know what they're proposing, so I can learn better about my school because I care about what's happening and how I should adjust to the new environment.
Love me, he cared for me, and I can't even get myself to walk my own school hallways without him being right next to me. I can't feel safe in my own school with my protector by my side. Ask anyone who knew me and Jaden. They will always say he never left her side. To see my best friend die right in front of me is one of the most traumatic and terrifying things I've ever been through. No one deserves to die in a place where we're all supposed to feel safe at.
How long did it take you to learn that there wasn't a shooter on campus and it was safe to evacuate to the field? How long did it take for the gates to be opened? How long did you stand in that crowd? I should be able to easily discern where I'm going, what needs to happen, and what I need to do from any point on campus. Look, we've been through a lot. We've been through wildfires, through COVID, and now it almost feels like we're in constant crisis. We've had evacuation after evacuation, and we are tired. We're worn out, but not acknowledging these events is much worse. Ignorance will only lead to rumors and misinformation, and ignoring the problems only makes them worse. Not knowing what's going on is a lot more frightening than knowing, and the delay in information provided by the school to us is way too long. Many of us here are legal adults. Just be straight up with us. Trying to sweep things under the rug doesn't do shit. We're not fucking blind. Thank you, it's Marge.
I'm here because I want to raise awareness for improving our safety in school and to encourage the school board to make a change.
We need like faster information, we need a better response time, we need just more safety, even like stopping the problem at its source, like having the bigger government do something instead of just our close school district.
The more people that show up, the more impact we can have on the higher ups. The more people high up can listen, and we need them to listen because we need change. We need fundamental change. And the only way that's going to happen is if everyone shows up and everyone agrees on one thing.
I'm here because there's been a lot of mishandlings of situations. What happened at Monty shows that violence is definitely a possibility to happen at school campuses, and all of the false alarms and confusing drills that's happened at Carrillo makes it clear that if something were to happen, our school would not be able to handle it. And so that makes a lot of students really in fear for if an emergency happens, would I be okay? Would I lose my life? And no one should feel that way at school. We're here just to protest, you know, changing the culture and getting more support from admin and the district in protecting us and having better safety procedures and protocols in place so that students know what to do in an emergency.
mean, we're here just to support the cause. I mean, look how many people are here.
Power in numbers.
There's obviously a reason we're here. Yeah. So I think it's a great cause, and I'm glad that everyone's here and all this is happening around us. So yeah, it's a good thing that it's happening.
Is there anything specifically that you're angry about?
The lack of communication is pretty appalling, if I'm being honest. Like there's just no line between the students and like well, there is a line, obviously. There's a taboo line that the administrators don't want to cross to obviously tell the students about what's happening. You know, all we want is the truth in the end, you know?
I mean, I just saw the post yesterday by the police that they found a gun, that they chased the dude off campus. And that's just like, it's horrible. And then the administration, the day it was happening, just went on the intercom and said that there was no gun on campus, which wasn't really the truth.
They weren't 100% sure that there was no gun, and once the gun was found, they just were like, yeah, and there was a gun. They didn't present it publicly to the children as an actual threat.
They said that there was a gun on campus, but they didn't listen. They didn't listen to us when we knew that there was a threat.
I didn't even know there was a gun on campus.
Right.
If you hear a rumor that there's a gun on campus, regardless of if you know it to be true yet, you should still handle it with extreme caution. And I don't feel like that was presented to us. I feel like we're being treated like we're like actual toddlers, and it's stupid.
It's bullshit. The administration, the school board has no care for our safety, and students are angry. That shows how many people are out here.
I think that it's insane how the admin informs the parents faster than they inform the people at school who are actually in danger. I just think it's insane. I don't know.
They didn't really lie, but they didn't tell the truth.
How has the district's actions made you feel in the past few days?
It's dumb that we have to worry about our safety on top of the homework that we have to do. Those things shouldn't have to correlate with each other. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, I feel like the district definitely could have done a better job. Like, I don't have much to say because, you know, I don't know what they're going through at the same time, but they could have done so much better.
I'm angry that so much has already happened and the school board did nothing to keep us safe or keep us informed during that.
Yeah.
For a school standard, we shouldn't be the one telling them what they're doing wrong. Like, they're our teachers, and we're not here to like tell them and critique them on their schoolwork.
I had friends at Monty that witnessed it, and the people up there I used to go to school with. And it just hurts like seeing that. They have to go up there and protest because the schools won't do nothing.
The fact that what happened 2 weeks ago happened again and no one learned from it, and the administration didn't make a change, tells us that there is a problem, and that's what we're here to say.
Students didn't know what to do, so we're just out here voicing our words.
What do you think needs to change about the administration?
I hope it bring for people to see us, for people to see all this, and show the state, show the district, show our teachers, because we're just out here. Yeah.
It's reassuring to have so many kids show up and so many teachers and people who care, because that's what the point is, to get more people who care. I'm here for my students, to protect them, make it easier for me to help protect them, and I'm here to open the line of communication between district and staff, because obviously it's failed multiple times.
Is there anything you want to say about how the district has handled recent events?
It's leading to change, hopefully, but it's been a failure. And a lot of voices to be heard, so hopefully they will see in numbers we are stronger.
And how do you feel about what's going on right now?
I feel like I'm so proud of each and every one of these students. We should demand this more often. What's happening in our country is a travesty. We put guns before our children. We put greed before our children. These are our future. And if we don't start protecting them, we are going to fail as a country This experiment in democracy is going to fail if we can't even protect our children. That's all I want to say.
Is there anything, any specific incidents that have made you feel like the school has handled it improperly?
Pretty much everything, like when we didn't lock down, when there was a call of an active shooter, even though it wasn't true, why would we not lock down? It doesn't take any time to lock down. A shelter in place doesn't take their resources, it keeps us safe and accounted for.
We can't ignore those that could put us in harm. We need to prevent harm from happening at the root of upset people. The press conference about the kid who stabbed at Monty, they first brought up just thanking people that were there instead of bringing up the fact that a child had died. The main thing for our school is that we don't know what to do in specific evacuation and emergency situations, and we need to all be on the same page of how to be safe for our school.
There was a rumor of a gun and everyone turned it down, and even the principal said that we're safe, and then the gun ended up being on someone in the school, and that just feels like that's extremely scary.
During our most recent fire evacuation, it was ridiculous that the gates to the field were locked. They got $60 million in aid from the state, but instead of our safety, they've been spending it on bullshit like the map test. They have spent $9 million. Left. We need to rally the community around this case and get more than just students involved. The district cannot sideline us forever, but only the cooperation of parents, teachers, and students and administration can we bring about change. Thank you.
I'm here to both stand with Monty and demand change from the district and administration.
How did you organize the event?
On Wednesday night, I started up an Instagram account, and I just went to the Puma Prensa Instagram and I started following everyone that they followed and who were following them. From there, I reached out to Rose and Georgia, two members of JSA, who told me they thought it was a good idea. Rose then helped me find speakers and wrote her own speech, and I talked with Ms. Deakins and Mr. Hart. In relations to Carrillo specifically, I believe that we need to have better plans for what happens when there's an emergency on either break or lunch. I believe there needs to be clearer and faster communication between the district administration and students, because it isn't fair that we have this rumor mill circulating, so we have no idea what's going on until after our own parents do. There was probably a gun brought onto campus. If it was discarded in a storm drain nearby, it is very likely that a student had the gun. We can't... I don't want there to be a school shooting at Carrillo. No one wants there to be a school shooting at Carrillo. We need to have fast and rapid responses to emergencies of this kind.
My name is Lieutenant Tommy Isaacson. You know, I came at the very end, so I didn't see how it actually turned out, but to see how everyone came together and spoke, you know, as a unified front for what they believe in, and they did it orderly, I think it couldn't have turned out any better.
Just proud of how the protest was carried out today, although I am not able to promote or condone it. I'm very proud of how Puma's kept their word and went safely and came out.
And so we wanted to offer tonight as a healing experience to be connected, to get through this trauma together, and also so that we connect in moving forward together and doing better. So I deeply appreciate you, and I want to honor that as those things come up, right? Be curious with it, sit with it. What is that resistance about? And see if we can continue to lead with togetherness and love.
For the march, the only thing teachers would tell me was know what you're marching for. And I marched for being told the truth, being told what's happening, and for my own safety. Because I'm frankly, I have not seen it. I haven't.
It's so sad for the families that lost this beautiful kid. I can feel their pain. As a parent, it's very, very frustrating this way. I agree with my daughter more than anyone. The local school administration failed to everyone.
And I think it's time we consider that all the violence and the fear
within our school are not a series of isolated incidents, but a symptoms of a larger problem. We cannot even begin to address the scope of the psychological damage that the pandemic has done to us. We have never experienced something like this before. Some students left school as 6th graders and returned for their first normal year as freshmen in high school. Imagine all of the social connections, the positive role models, the education they have missed out on. Students are confused and anxious and frustrated and have no idea how to process the traumas that have occurred within their adolescence. They feel like they have nothing else to do, they don't know what to do, there's mental health conflicts, there's fear, and they turn to violence. And I'm not saying that those issues are any excuse, but we cannot ignore mental health as an explanation.
My AP literature teacher should not have to take her lunchtime to do the little supervising that she can. Jobs for this position can be posted, however, that is not the challenge. The challenge is meeting the livable wage standard people are willing to work for. The task is that the district should be able to properly allocate our school funds to address issues of staff shortages.
In these recent times of emergency, we're left wondering what's true, what's happening, and what we're supposed to do. We're left wondering if we'll make it through the day unscathed. Some admin might even argue it's the students who are not communicating, coming forward with the needed information, needed to understand what was really going on. Although true, let's address the reasons for their hesitation. Students are scared to come forward from fear of retaliation. Administration needs to be clear to students about confidentiality. Students should feel as though what they say, whether it be a rumor that ends up being true or not, will not be used against them later on, especially since they are stepping forward to help keep their school campus safe. We need to protect student informants from disciplinary action and potential retaliation of the students they report on. Additionally, even if students want to come forward, they don't often think they can trust the adults on campus to support or believe them.
On March 1st, Jaden was stabbed and killed at Montgomery High School, which is only 2 miles away from where we are right now. This brought extreme grief and sadness for everyone in Santa Rosa, including our campus. His death won't be forgotten. All schools across the county have experienced lockdowns, shelter-in-places, not just our county, but our entire nation. I have a little cousin at Rincon Valley Middle School. She's an 8th grader right now. Last Thursday, I read a text from her. Her school went onto lockdown. I was in my economics class and Raise the Bar told me to keep my phone away, so I kept my phone away. If the students are following Raise the Bar, then our school officials need to also raise the bar for everything. She texted me that she was on lockdown. There was a gun threat around the area. I had to pretend like everything was okay in my econ class. Everything was not okay. None of this is okay. That was a text from my little cousin after Jaden's death in the middle of class. She could have been dead in her classroom, her middle school classroom. Who's next? It could be any of us. It shouldn't be any of us. Why could it be any of us? We need to provide students and staff the necessary tools to de-escalate situations and prevent violence in our communities. And that is exactly what we will do. Today, right now, we will march together. We'll make our voices heard. We demand the safe education system we deserve. We demand a system that prioritizes our well-being, A system that prepares us for our future, whatever that be. And a system that we can be proud of. We need more adult supervision on campus. 3 Garys for 1,600 students? That is not enough. We need more Garys and Jeromes on our campus, ones with training and who provide support for all of us. Who here loves our campus supervisors? We need more of them to keep us safe. We need reformed evacuation and alarm policies. We need to be prepared for anything that comes our way. We need better comprehensive emergency education. Because what are those policies if no one knows what those policies are? And we need better communication in the event of an emergency. I shouldn't be finding out about what's going on my campus when we're on lockdown from a Snapchat group chat. Hundreds of students right now are walking all out of their classes. You guys are walking out of your classes to demand change. This isn't an isolated issue, it's a systemic issue. Think to yourself, why are you marching? What do you guys want to see change? For every step you take during this march, think about that. Think about the change you want to see. And remember guys, this is a peaceful protest, so stay safe. Don't rush because this is a march, it's not a race. Stay on the sidewalks and stay off the roads for safety. During this march, amplify and empower each and every one of your guys' voices and be respectful of one another. What do we need? When do we need it? We will walk through the hallways and then head to the district office. This is our call to action.
We're not fitting in here.
Not our first priority. We're the quote-unquote future of our society or whatever, and they don't make us a priority to protect us. So they fail to do SRHS, proper education for their teachers to save people's lives. And it may not have made an effect on the guy that died, but it sure would make us feel a hell of a lot safer, and not lead us to bring weapons to school.
When do we want it? Now! We want change! 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 We want change!
We're here today because change is very necessary right now, and the school system just doesn't want to fix it, and they want to ignore us. But when things like this happen, that's when they decided to enact change, but nothing's being done. And so we're doing this to have our voices heard.
Immigrated from Mexico gave me and like other students a better life. But now we have to worry about if we're gonna die or not. We have to worry about our lives. We should be worrying about school. What makes my heart ache is that the school district knew about the ongoing acts of violence at Montgomery and other schools, and yet turned a blind eye to these dangerous conditions. In some cases, they even attempted to cover them up. For years, students have been crying for help on safety matters, but the district has chosen to prioritize other. How can we focus on our education when we do not feel safe? Violence in our schools has happened before, and it will continue to happen time and time again until the board makes severe changes. This lack of action from the adults in charge has left us to take matters of personal safety into our own hands, something a student should never have to do. It is not
to Montgomery, so it's clear that violence is everywhere. But I think a big problem is with our curriculum. A through G requirements push everyone towards college, and that's just not realistic. It neglects students that don't want to go that path. Classes must engage and cater to students that feel left out or too far behind. Those who choose to follow paths not including higher education must be celebrated, respected, and cared for. Our school officials need to provide alternate education similar to Ridgeway and allocate resources which support students who are struggling the most. If we foster a community that supports different career choices, not just college-oriented ones, we'll be a safer and stronger student body.
Value right! Value right! Not violence! Value right! Not violence! Value right! Not violence! We're just kids! 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 We're just kids!
Junior at Santa Rosa High School, Hannah Gertavoy is taking action in making sure that our staff, teachers, and administration are all certified in trauma care and first aid. We need to stop the bleeding. She's been neglected due to lack of funding, but where is the funding going? New football fields? New tracks? We love athletics, but they should love us. We support their schools. We are here to get an education. We need to make sure that trusted adults in every classroom have the training to de-escalate situations and, God forbid, in the event of more bleeding, more wounds, more violence, know how to treat it. Thank you so much for your support, and this is why change is going to happen, because you guys are involved. I wish you didn't have to be, but this is what it's come to. And so what we're gonna do right now is we are gonna wrap it up, and we expect to see you, we want to see you, and we encourage you to show up at the board meeting tonight.
Keep us safe! 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 Keep us safe!
I feel like I heard this thing where at Carrillo where the offices got locked when kids were trying to get in them for safety. Personally, hearing that for me was really upsetting because I know what it's like to be scared, and if your only outlet is inaccessible to you, then that's scary as hell, and I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, and just the lack of action that people in the schools are taking. There were warning signs, there were so many warning signs that something was gonna go down and something bad was gonna happen, and they don't pay attention and they don't do anything about it, and then things like this happen, and we have to come out here and do this.
And it's sad to see it happen quite a bit. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I am your finest and final speaker today. And so after this, you guys are free to do what you want. We encourage you to go back to class, but it is your decision. But the most important thing to remember is that the board meeting is tonight. We are meeting in Courthouse Square, 4:45. Be there and be at the square. Unfortunately, many schools had hesitancies with walkouts today, and there were many that didn't walk out. Many schools dropped out because they said violence was such a regular occurrence at their schools. We no longer think too hard about it. We no longer hope for change. We are desensitized, and many of us don't believe that anything is actually going to come of this, and that's exactly why we have to do it. Because if we never think a change is going to happen, then it won't. And if we think there's a chance, we have to try, we have to put in our effort, and we're going to go to the board meeting tonight and make shit happen! This is not going to fix everything, but it's a start. Nothing will change if we don't start somewhere. And ladies and gentlemen, we are not giving up on our safety. Having specific demands, which many Sonoma County students have come together in this past week to make, and going to the place to speak publicly about it, that's how we're going to make change happen.
We need to spread awareness of campus violence that happens every single day. Bathrooms are not safe. I walk into the bathroom and I'm scared that something violent will happen to myself or to another student. We need to do more prevention. We need to be proactive, not reactive to violence that happens on our campus, because a fight might not just be a fight and it might result in someone's death or injury.
I would have been able to handle that situation a lot better. Like I'm certified in Stop the Bleed. I know what to do in those kinds of situations, and it really touched home knowing that in that kind of situation there were a lot of other steps that could have prevented him from dying at all, and that really was unfortunate.
As a kid who grew up in the ghetto, I've just seen violence. I've seen people get shot. I've seen people commit suicide. I've seen practically everything you can imagine. And it's hurt me that once again I have to endure myself to this. And so a few weeks ago, a massacre occurred in Montgomery Park where 11 people were gunned down senselessly by a madman who wants Alicia's anger. And I want to let the people hear that the people of SoCal are with you, that we know your struggles, that we're struggling as well as you. Not only are we trying to make a change, we're all here for you, and we're all there. And for the people at Maria Carrillo who are going to read this paper, I want to know that we're with you, that I stand by with you, that you're supporting us really makes a difference. And I just want to say thank you. God bless you all.
Jaden died at our school the other day. That was really real. That's why we're going to do this moment of silence. Starting now. What needs to be noticed about that is that this all started with Jaden's death. No matter what, Jaden died, and now we're here because of it. We're here for much more, but it's because he died. We all need to recognize that. Going into this, please.
Some of you may have heard the rumors that a student was tased at Maria Carrillo 2 days ago. Turned out to not be true. But these rumors fly around our campus and many of your campuses as well. And we're learning far too late if there was indeed danger at our schools, and that is a failure of the system. It's because we, the students, lack information. As it turned out, there was a gun at Maria Carrillo. While initially deemed false, that rumor turned out to be true. It was found in a storm drain unloaded. The fact is that a gun was there, and if a student had ill intent with possession of that firearm, there could have been a real school shooting at my school. And students continued to push on administration and police and staff, telling everybody, yes, there was a firearm here. This kid had it. Here's why he had it. And yet we weren't listened to. And it took 2 days, over 24 hours, for us to finally get the final word that, yes, there was a gun here. When the fire alarm was pulled on Wednesday at Maria Carrillo, our students evacuated to the field, and it took at least 10 minutes of us standing in a crowd waiting at those gates for them to be open so we could continue with the rest of the evacuation. We have a side gate at our school that swings wide open all day, and it's up to my AP literature teacher to go close it. We don't have the adults, the staff, and people watching over us to keep us safe, and we need that. And once more, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the alarm tones need to be different. It sounds the same as an Amber Alert, as is a fire alarm, as is a lockdown. That is not okay.
As students, as community members, we should not be dying in our campuses. We need to start making change in our school districts and all schools across the nation. So let's get ready to march and we're going to head over to the board meeting, and we're going to demand change from our school officials, from our board members, and from our teachers, and everyone who is there to protect us at school. And yeah.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice!
Last week on Friday, I led a walkout. An hour later, we got on lockdown. Because my little sister's school had a shooter, supposedly. I had no idea what was going on. My little sister is 13. I love her more than I love my own life. I had no idea what was going on. All I heard was that there was a shooter in Rincon Valley, and I was panicked. I was freaking out. I could not focus on anything, and I almost started crying. Because my little sister, my 13-year-old little sister, could be laying in a classroom dead, and I had no idea what was going on. That should not happen at school. We are there to learn. We are there to be safe. We are there to be listened to and to be respected. That has not happened.
Now, school has never been perfect, but has not always been dangerous. Our fellow student, Jaden Pienta, died. At age 16, he died. And the negligence of our district administration played a part in this death. Our disaster drills are disorganized. Our staff lack the formal training for these disastrous situations. But this shouldn't be their responsibility in the first place. Teachers already do too much for students, way more than the administration does. And with their unreasonable wages, they should not have to act like first responders do.
The day following the tragedy at Montgomery, there were 6 fights on our campus in one day. Not only has this happened among the students, but it has come to the point to where our faculty are being assaulted. When our staff can't even feel safe on campus, in what world should we? The violence is a result of the board only saying they care, but never showing it. From holes in the wall that never get fixed, to wallpaper peeling off the walls, classrooms missing ceiling tiles, and leaks that have been around the school for longer than I have. In 5 years, our superintendent makes $1 million, while our principal makes it in 7. It is sickening how much money we're paying these people, but none of it is going back to fixing our schools.
Just start off by saying I'm tired, okay? I am sick and tired of going to school for long hours, going to JC for even more hours, going home, doing homework, and still being worried about whether or not I'm safe to go to school. And I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm starting to fall asleep in class now, and this never happens. Last night, I spoke upon what happened at Carrillo and what happened at Monty, and how we had no communication. Last night, I mentioned respect. I don't see it. That is my whole thing. If you don't respect me, I cannot trust you. I cannot respect you back. That is what we need. We are old enough to respect one another and to know the definition of that word. And I don't see that. I don't see it from the school board. I don't see it from admin. I mean, from my peers, I don't see that either. So that's something that I think as a community we need to work towards. If we want change, we're being that change. So as the change, let's just look around and respect one another. Respect who you are, no matter what of age, height, ethnicity, it doesn't matter. Because if we want to change, we need to make that step. We need to be able to trust one another. Because it's scary. You go to school, you're putting your life, and I'm putting my life in her hands going to school. She's putting her life in my hands. We need to protect each other. We need to respect each other. We need to trust each other. That is what we need to do as a change and as a community. As students, we're killing each other. Literally, mentally, and if we're not killing each other, we're killing ourselves. We're giving up. We're giving up on school, giving up on sleep. That's why I love Josephine. She has not given up. She has pushed so hard. All of you guys here have pushed so hard to be here. So thank you for not giving up tonight. And thank you for still pushing and still fighting for a change.
I feel like pointing out something along the lines of what everyone else is saying. We are not funded properly. There's a reason why education becomes privatized in this state, all right? There are kids that pay $17,000 a year to go to school, up to $60,000. Like, How do we not see that? Like that, therein lies the issue. We do not have the proper funds. We have $150 million in LLCF, the local community funding formula. Like, why is it up to them to make these decisions? It's privatized education, which then becomes privatized donations, which that's how other schools are run, all right? That's just my piece. We're not funded properly because we're set up to not be funded properly. The system wouldn't work if they didn't have schools like us, all right? Like, to have schools that are half the student population is socioeconomically disadvantaged, and then to say you're not going to be funded the same as these private schools, that's ridiculous. Yeah. This is an error to the system, okay? This is what we need to focus on. This is what we need to focus on fixing to solve issues like this. Jaden should have never died.
Hi everybody, I just want to let you know that I am a Santa Rosa Memorial Hospital worker, and I first and foremost see everybody that comes in. So I've seen stabbings, I've seen gun shootings, I've seen it all. What I think you need board of supervisors or supervisors more is to come in and look at this and see what happens. You see how many units of blood that everybody has to be used to save these lives. And this is on your hands. You have the time and the money to do something about it, but I don't see much action. I have a child that is going to school at RVMS next year, and I'm very worried about her. I don't know how you guys can sleep at night. This is Lord of the Flies at its best.
For the sake of the next generation, for the sake of our futures, for the sake of my sister's future, please listen. Do you know that we hate fire drills more than lockdowns? It's not because we think fires are more frightening than active shooters, but it's because we're terrified of being in crowds because it's the perfect time to get shot. Did the adults in the room understand that that's how we, the students, think? Last week, the fire alarm was pulled at Carrillo, and this time there was a gun at Carrillo. A student had been in possession of a firearm on school grounds, and there could have been a real school shooting at Carrillo. We don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. Students I know stop coming to school because we can't trust you to protect us. I have a physical list of demands I would like to submit to the board. Thank you.
Hi, this is Rebecca Sullivan. I work at Montgomery High School. I was the one who cared for Jaden when the events happened on March 1st. I would like to know why we have 2 campus supervisors to 1,600 students. I would like to know why we have 1 restorative specialist to 1,600 students. Our students have been fighting all year. We had multiple fights, gang-related, about boys, whatever the case may be. It's been years that the saying at our site was, it's gonna take someone dying for district and the board to care and make change on these policies that are, in my opinion, ridiculous. The safety is not there. The safety concern is not there. I can't sleep at night right now because of the events that happened on March 1st. I see his face every night. Change and be better for our students, please.
It is unfathomable what us as students have been going through these past 2 weeks at school. We should not be going to school not understanding if we're going to be able to come home safe later that day. Over the past 2 weeks, we've had 6 different events at my school alone. We've had false fire alarms, real fire alarms, false shooting threats, possible shootings, and lockdowns, fake lockdowns, and everything like that. And it's just completely, again, it's unfathomable that us as students here in America, everywhere in America, we all suffer from this. We're in an epidemic where none of us students feel safe at school. And again, we wonder, are we going to be safe when we come home? And that's just, it can be solved so simply. It can be higher protocols, it can be student therapy. If we focus on the mental health of us as students, if you give us the proper resources where we can go and talk to someone and not talk to a therapist that's led up with different meetings throughout the day because she has to cover 1,500 different students. If you give us therapists with...
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
In my time at Montgomery High School, I have worked with 20 different administrators. I'm going to say that again. 20 different administrators. Now, the management model is set up like so. The least experienced administrators deal with school discipline and school safety. That is backwards. Please redesign the structure. If we're serious about student safety, then the most experienced, the ones with the best judgment, should be the ones working in student discipline and managing student safety.
7 suspensions. 7. A total 11 of being a principal. If you could let that happen. 7 suspensions, and you'd be done. What happened to consequences? I went to Ridgewood. The consequence there was, you get in a fight, you're out. And for the fact that it happened 7 separate times, and then for a murder to happen, and that's when it gets pulled together, oh, now we gotta stop. It's pathetic. It's, I don't know what I can say. My friends over here traumatized. They've seen it happen. They don't get justice. Jay doesn't get justice.
My name is Alfredo Sanchez. An injury to one is an injury to all. You know, I just wanted to say, I got 10 kids in Sonoma County. They all graduated. 3 of those kids came out of Montgomery High School. And I started to think, what are the difference between these kids today and my kids? There's no difference. They're the same kids. They're kids. And they should provide safety. And teachers should be able to teach in safety. What happened here is not that the kids got sloppy. It's that the system got sloppy. You guys got sloppy. Get yourself a thinking hat. Get critical thinking. Instead of, you know, you should put your office. When I was a community worker out there, my car was out.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
And your office should not be here.
Thank you.
It should be.
Thank you. Thank you.